are listening to the Freeform Rock Podcast with Mark Alden Taylor.
Hey man, welcome to another edition of the Freeform Rock Podcast with me.
Hey, Mr. I Think You're a Man. How are you?
I didn't even get to introduce you, man. You just jumped right in.
Alright, who am I?
I don't know who are you?
Come on, man.
Is this Lee Gerstmann or Lee Gershman?
Yeah. Lee Gerstafferman. Yeah, right on.
Alright, well, all joking aside, we're going to do the first Dire Straits album, the self-titled album from 1978. But before that, we're recording on a day that I don't know if Lee Lee's not that big of a Cars fan, but we lost Rick Ocasek of the Cars. What a fucking what a genius.
I didn't know that. That's a bummer.
Yeah, he died today. His ex found him dead in his Manhattan apartment. He died at 75.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was in Walmart getting some dog food. My wife was in the car listening to KLOS, and then she texted me and goes, "Rick Ocasek died." I go, "Really? Is that real?" And she goes, "Yeah, KLOS said it." I go, "Oh." And then I went on the internet and found it and go, "Oh, it's true. It's not death by internet."
Oh man.
Man, it's really sad. I remember the Cars. I love the Cars. I had the freaking Cars first album on tape. I used to ride listening to that on my Walkman, riding my bike listening to it. And then I had the Cars greatest hits on tape. I used to put my boombox on my freaking shoulder, walk my golden retriever, and freaking just make everybody listen to the Cars, because I thought, like you, Lee, I think everybody should like what I like, you know.
Yeah, well, hey, you were right.
Yeah, these were part of my teenage years and part of my adult life, because we did a podcast with Joe Milliken on Benjamin Orr on his book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to go check out an old podcast episode, that guy's really cool. He has the Benjamin Orr book you guys can go check out. But Rick Ocasek was the true genius of this band. He wrote all the songs. He wrote Drive and let Ben sing it, you know? It's like...
Yeah.
It's like, shit, man. I'm glad they got into the Hall of Fame, even though it doesn't mean a lot to anybody. But it means a lot to the bands who do get into it. You know, even though the fans, we hate it because Priest and Maiden aren't in there, but fuck.
Yeah.
But they put the Talking Heads in before Rush. Fuck you. And even U2, come on. Rush deserves to be in there before U2, even though I adore U2. But Rick Ocasek, man, what a great lyricist and a great solo artist, man. So we're going to play a couple tunes that I picked and Lee picked, and I'm going to play two tunes by the Cars, and one will be my track of the week. But we're going to start this in tribute of Rick Ocasek. We're going to play some songs by him. I picked Motions in Motion from his solo album, and you picked Shake It Up from the Cars.
Yep.
So let's shake it up with some Emotions in Motion on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
I shake it up. Dance all night, get real loose. You don't need no bad excuse. Dance all night with anyone. Don't let nobody pick your phone. Shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, shake it up. Shake it up. Dance all night. Dance all night. Go all night. Shake it up, man. All you got. Dance. Dance all night, whirl your hair. Make a night you can't stop and stare. Dance all night, go to work. Do the move with the quirky jerk. Shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, shake it up. Shake it up. Dance all night. Get so nice. Dance all night. Shake it up. All you got. Shake it up. Make a scene. Let 'em know what you really mean. Dance all night. Keep the beat. Don't you worry about doing the beat. Shake it up. 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 Shake it up, baby. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up, baby. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, yeah. Shake it up. 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 Shake it up.
Okay, that was Emotions in Motion and Shake It Up, man. Man, I'm gonna miss this guy. It's like all our heroes are dying. And also, you know what? We should play an Eddie Money song too, right? Eddie Money passed this week also. Lee, are you there? Lee? I lost you, Lee. Saying
All right.
Lee, what I was saying, Lee, after we played the Rick Ocasek, we also lost Eddie Money this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I knew.
Well, I think we should play.
I mean, the Rick Ocasek was way too soon. I mean, I had just heard about it just a little while before you mentioned it, but Eddie Money I knew about a little bit. But it's like when this stuff happens, it happens so suddenly, and it's like it hardly gives me even time to even think about it. It's like, oh man, you know, it's like it just happens, and it's like you have to deal with it.
I know the only one I really cried over, artist. You know, I'm really sad about Rick and Eddie. Is Tom Petty, because I had a relationship with Tom Petty with my mom, because we bonded over Tom Petty's music. I think I said that on the podcast here before. But
Yeah.
I really think we should play an Eddie Money song too. Why did we forget about Eddie? You know, what
Sure.
song would you play by Eddie?
How about Take Me Home Tonight?
Take Me Home Tonight? And I'm going to play a song called We Should Be Sleeping. So here's Take Me Home Tonight, and We Should Be Sleeping on the Freeform Rock Podcast in honor of the Money Man, Mr. Eddie Money.
choice. We should be sleeping. No, you don't say bye, 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 baby. Why should we break down and cry? Don't let the world drive you crazy. Don't say bye, baby, bye, bye now. Don't say bye, 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 baby now. Don't say bye, 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 baby. Why should we break down and cry? Don't let the world drive you crazy. No, no. Don't say bye, baby, bye, bye. Don't say bye, 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 baby. Why should we break down and cry? Don't let the world drive you crazy. Don't say bye, baby, bye, bye.
Okay, that was Take Me Home Tonight, and We Should Be Sleeping by Eddie Money, man. What a fuck, man. It's like, I know we're getting old, but our artists are getting older, and they're dying on us left and right. It's like,
Damn.
it fucking sucks, dude, because we're going to be left with, like, no real artist anymore in music.
That's one thing that I feel is kind of frightening, is the idea that, well, for instance, not that you know of the group Family, but they were around back in the early 70s, and the guy Roger Chapman, he and the drummer went and they did a reunion kind of somewhat recently. He asked Charlie Whitney, the guitarist, if he'd play in the reunion because he was part of the group in the early days, and Charlie Whitney said he lived in a different country, and he said, I'm not going to fly all the way over just to do some concerts. And so Roger Chapman said, that's fine. He said, you got to remember that we're old. He said, you should be thankful we're not in the fucking hospital, let alone doing touring. My God. You know, that was sort of his funny way of saying it, but it's like, it's true. He's saying we're still around, but hey, we're getting older, you know?
Yeah, I think all my favorite artists started dying with Dio. It's like when Dio went, everybody started dropping. What is Robert Plant going to be the next? Because it happens in 3. Please don't take Robert Plant, Lord. We need Robert Plant. Yeah, we need Jimmy Page.
I feel that they for some reason they're still going to be hanging on for a while. You know,
That's awesome.
I saw Jimmy Page live. He was. I'm glad I saw him.
This has just been a really bad week for music. First we lost Eddie, and now we lost Rick. You know, less than a week apart. It's like, fuck. We knew Eddie was dying. He had stage 4 esophagus cancer, you know, but we didn't know Rick was dying. He just freaking passed away on us like that.
Yeah.
It's like, that was sudden. We braced for Eddie, but Rick was just like, damn.
Yeah, it's like he didn't say nothing. It's almost like we didn't know about Prince, and even though we had kind of an idea that David Bowie wasn't doing well, we didn't know he would just all of a sudden die. But he decided to do his album just 3 days before he died. But that's a true artist who's continuing to do music up until his last days.
And he made that creepy video with him like going into a coffin. And it was like, whoa, he was even making art still, man. That guy was like artistic till he died.
Yeah.
Fucking Prince, man, that was a shock to me. Fucking Prince and Tom Petty should not have died. Fucking opiates, fuck opiates, and fucking it was Prince took them. Tom Petty was just given the wrong prescriptions by his doctors that interacted with him wrong because he had an injury, and they gave him too many meds for it.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into like some happier times. Let's talk about Dire Straits from 1978, shall we?
Sure.
Sir, how long you've been living with this album since it came out, huh, Lee?
My mom told me back then that this was considered to be a hard rock album, and she thought that it would be a good thing and that I would like it, and she was interested in it. So she bought it for herself, and I heard it, and I thought, well, it doesn't really quite sound like hard rock, but I ended up listening to it a lot. I forget whether she bought it for me or whether or not she bought it for herself. She might have bought it for me because I think I had it more than she did, but she did buy it because she thought that it was the new thing. And this is during the time when Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, which she actually had. It wasn't my album. And she had Van Morrison's Wavelength, which was her album, but I would borrow it. But I listened to the Dire Straits album, and at that time, I liked some of it. I like it a lot more now, but back then it was kind of like it sounded like. I didn't know back then, but I would have probably said, "Who's that on guitar, Roy Clark?" Now I know that Roy Clark is great, but back then it sounded like chicken plucking guitar. It didn't sound like a real rock guitar. But there were some songs that I did like back then. Still.
Yeah, it has a classic, like a really classic song on here that we'll get into later. I got into Dire Straits because Money for Nothing, MTV. That fucking video was great. And then I went back.
Oh yeah, that's the best song on that album.
Oh, I like the song Brothers in Arms and stuff too.
Yeah, that's the best song off of the 1978 album.
Well, I got into Dire Straits, and then I went back. Her Twisting by the Pool, Communique, Love Over Gold.
Oh yeah.
This, and then I always heard the song that was on this album that was a huge hit, but I didn't know who they were until I went back and dug deep into their catalog. And this album was released 2 days before my 8th birthday, October 7th, 1978. I'm almost 49, man. Shit. I'm almost
wow.
Big 5-0 here. Well, let's get into this album, shall we? It was the debut album by British rock band Dire Straits. I already said was released. And the album produced the hit single Sultans of Swing, which reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 on the UK singles chart. The album reached number 1 on album charts in Germany, Austria, France, and the United States, and number 2 in the United States, and number 5 in the United Kingdom. So, we've made it number 2, and in their own country only got it number 5.
We were more stupid. No, I'm sorry.
Dire Straits was later certified double platinum in both the United States and the United Kingdom. So let's get
double bubble.
Well, let's get into track 1, which is Down to the Waterline. What did you think about this one?
Well, back then I didn't remember the slow introduction. There's like a guitar that like that, and I didn't remember that on the first printing. They might have put that in later, but I like it. It's kind of like a Roy Clark type of chicken plucking guitar. Sorry for saying that, but it's kind of like a bluegrass rock song, kind of like if a punk rock group didn't do punk and they did bluegrass instead, but they still made it rock. But it's a good song, and I do like it. It has kind of a Dylan kind of an edge to it.
Well, I just said it starts off moody, and then it starts jamming, with the signature Knopfler guitar sound. Great opening track, and love Knopfler's voice. Also, this band has some killer rhythm.
Yeah.
They rule on this. And then we get to the next track called Water of Love. What'd you think of this one?
This was kind of, to me, a little bit like almost religious-like, as if they're talking about some healing water, but in a cool way. It sort of makes me think of later, like what Daniel Lanois did when he did the song about water. I think it was Cool Water. I kind of like Daniel Lanois' song a little better, but this is alright. This sort of makes me think of maybe a Bob Dylan Blonde on Blonde period song, but a little bit more mellow. But it's interesting. It's maybe more of a deep cut. It's maybe not one of my very favorites on here, but I do like it.
I just said really cool song, killer guitar picking, like you were saying earlier. And he does. He's like Lindsey Buckingham. He doesn't play with a guitar pick. He picks, right? Like you said, picking. And also, I heard a story of Mark Knopfler talking about how he learned how to play guitar. They were poor, and he got the cheapest guitar ever, but couldn't afford an amp. So he grabbed his radio and made it into an amp. He took the speaker out of the radio and made it into a guitar amp. And
cool.
He used you hear a song that says making their fingers bleed. He's talking about himself because he made his finger bleed. I guess guitar players, when they start playing, they have to build up calluses and their fingers bleed on the chords before. So he was talking about when he was a kid and how he got the guitar, and that's why he couldn't afford a pick, so he learned how to play without a pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and The Water of Love, it's kind of country with some folky in it. I love it. And then we get into the next track, which you picked, called Setting Me Up. So here's Setting Me Up on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
Say I'm the greatest. Well, the word is out and I learned. Back up to the lady side of the story. You're pulling out before you get back. Hands are squeezing me down to the bone. I never saw you breaking no law. That's just the reason I got to leave you alone. What you took me for? You just setting me up, put me down. You're just making me out to be your clown. Setting me up, put me down. You better give it up. Yeah, give it up. Quit your messing around. Setting me up, put me down. Just making me out to be your clown. Setting me up, yeah.
That was setting me up. What'd you think about that song?
Oh, this is more like a regular rock song. It has kind of that country picking edge to it, but it sounds a little more like actual rock. To me, it sounds kind of like Fleetwood Mac, but the Fleetwood Mac while Bob Welch was in the band, not the stuff with Lindsey Buckingham. And it has this good... It kind of makes me think of someone who's sitting in a car with the seatbelt on, and he's being set up, like setting me up with the seatbelt, and they're riding in the car, and he's, moving his head. I'm moving in the car. Kind of like that. It's a hot song. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a really cool song. I like it how it's like a little rockabilly there with little rhythm, little country and folk. It's really a cool track, man. I liked it a lot. Yeah, this is an album that I just figured out lately that you could just take headphones and put headphones on, and there's a lot of instrumentations going on in the background that you can't hear it when you're just listening to it in your car or on a regular stereo without headphones.
I'll have to listen to it again and figure that out.
Yeah, you should. This is a like Jim Ladd says, you need headphones for this album. It's really cool, man. And then we get to the next track, Six Blade Knife. What'd you think of this one?
Six Blade Knife, it kind of makes me feel like I want to poke someone just very lightly with a knife while singing it, like Six Blade Knife, do anything to you, and then poke them, and they go, what the hell are you doing? And I'm saying, I'm just enjoying the song. And then they move out of the chair and walk away from me before I can poke them anymore. But no, it's a cool, kind of a mellow, deep cut. It's I would say I like it, even though back then I might have thought it was filler, but it was the kind of filler song that I dug. It's not bad.
Yeah, I kind of sounds like Fleetwood Mac mixed with Bruce Springsteen. It's like I just said, it's such a headphone song, so much going on in the background. Such a cool song. I could sip some whiskey to this and just chill.
Cool. I could sip some vodka to it, but right now I'm doing a podcast, so I don't want to give any gluggingness sounds.
I'm just sipping some whiskey, but now I'm out.
Well, I still have vodka, but I'll wait till we're done.
I need to get a refrigerator in here so I could just grab a bottle. Alright, let's get to the next track, the last song of side one that you picked, Southbound Again. So here's Southbound Again on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
Southbound again. Don't know if I'm gonna leaving home. Southbound again. Don't know if I'm gonna leave it home. Boys about to keep moving. Seem like the boys by rule. So every single time roll across rolling river time. Every single time roll across the rolling river time. Look at the same old feeling every time I'm moving down the line.
That was Southbound again. Why'd you pick this track, Lee?
Oh, this one's also a bumpy like kind of happy song. The kind of song that if you're in San Francisco and someone's dancing right behind you, you have to go, "Hey, buddy, watch out what you're doing with that pecker." But it's a cool song. You haven't been in Kessler Street, thank goodness. But anyway, I whenever I go there, I come protected with my shield of armor. But the thing is, it's a good song. It has this kind of bouncy beat that kind of makes me think of if you're in a car and it's bouncing up and down because it's on the gravel road. You can go and sing to the bouncy rhythm and go southbound again. I like it. It kind of reminds me of the sort of stuff that I did back when I was in my band back in that time period, and I was just doing drums and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, I said, man, so much going on in this song. Slow, but so much instrumentations. This band is so tight, and this is a song you kind of dance to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tap your toes and go bum bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum.
Yeah, it didn't sound slow to me, but I mean slow as compared to Slipknot. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's talk about something good, shall we?
Yeah.
All you Slipknot fans out there.
I made a slip. I said Slipknot. I should have said Strawberry Shortcake.
All you Slipknot fans in there, no offense, but I like Corey Taylor when he sings. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next track, which is track 1 on side 2, which is the big hit off this album, Sultans of Swing, and you picked it, Lee. So here's Sultans of Swing on the Freeform Rock Podcast.
Shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime, sound of the river, you stop and you hold everything. A band is blowing Dixie, double fall time. You feel alright when you hear the music ring. Well, now you step inside, but you don't see too many faces. Coming in out of the rain to hear the jazz go down. Competition in other places, but the horns, they blowing that sound. Way on down south, way on down south, London town. Check out Guitar George, he knows all the chords. But it's strictly rhythm, he doesn't want to make it cry or sing. If then an old guitar is all he can afford, when he gets up under the lights to play his thing. And Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. He's got a daytime job, he's doing alright. He can play the honky-tonk like anything, saving it up Friday night with the Sultans, with the Sultans of Swing. And a crowd of young boys, they're fooling around in the corner. Sultans. Yeah, the Sultans that play Creole. Creole. And then the man steps right up to the microphone and says at last, just as the time bell rings, good night, now it's time to go home. Then he makes it fast with one more thing. We are the Sultans. We are the Sultans of Swing.
So do you know Guitar George?
I don't know him personally. No.
That was Sultans of Swing, and that's a character in the song. So why'd you pick that track, Lee?
Oh well, I used to talk to Guitar George. It's a good song. It's like I heard it before I knew it was a hit, but I could figure that it would be a hit because it had hit written all over it, and it has a really good kind of a melody that's like, it's one of those things where you just know it. When you first hear it, you just know it's going to be good. And it's the first song off of side 2, which a lot of albums, the very first song off of side 2 was always the best song, and this is no exception. It was pretty swinging.
Well, it's called the Sultans of Swing. Come on now.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I hope it would be swinging.
Yeah.
Because she was swinging.
I meant swinging in a different way, but never mind.
All right. Well, this song needs no review. It's good rock.
Okay, let's do the next song.
Right.
Okay, go on.
It's good rock, jazz, folk, killer rhythm, so organic, and Mark's solo is amazing. They are the Sultans of Swing.
Yeah, well, when you say Mark, why don't you just say you? Because you're talking about you. Why say Mark's solo is so good? Why don't you just say your solo is so good?
My solo, I can't play a solo. I can if I'm playing with myself, but I mean Mark. I mean Mark Knopfler.
Oh, you mean Mark with a K, special K.
See,
you're not talking about vitamin C. Mark with a C.
See, he's an action and I'm a noun.
That doesn't make sense, but I like it.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense? You know, when you go somewhere, you got a pen and you mark something down.
I know. It makes sense.
I'm a
but I
person.
wanna say-
He's an action. You get it?
Oh. Why
Yeah.
not? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you guys want to hear my solo on the skin flute. All right. Well, let's get to the next track, which is In the Gallery. What'd you think of this one?
I like that one. I thought it was actually pretty good. It's like for the kind of sort of cool, not ballad, but just sort of cool blues thing to it. I thought it was kind of a cool song. It now makes me think of a less electric version of Robin Trower. But yeah, I dug that song. I thought it was pretty hot. It kind of made me think of now, if I was still with my girlfriend, we could say, hey, let's go to the gallery, babe. Let's go to the hallway and kiss.
Just don't take her to the night gallery.
Yeah.
There'd be some weird shit going on there with Rod Serling.
Yeah, we'd go to the day gallery. Or maybe even the gay gallery, because she liked... Never mind.
Okay. Well, I think this is a cool song. It's very rhythmic. Freaking awesome track. And I agree with everything you said about it, Lee. Let's get into the next song. Wild West End. What'd you think of this one?
Oh, shit, I don't like it. But I don't hate it. It's more like the one song that if I could pluck that off, I would prefer to put a song more like Where Do You Think You're Going off of Communique and put that in its place. This song is alright if you like this kind of song, but I'm not that kind of person.
What kind of person are you, Lee?
I am a kind of person who right now is trying to stay awake.
Yeah, because we're doing it really late because I have a shit show coming tomorrow. I got a freaking AC
But you
guy.
caught me at,
I have furniture building dude.
You caught me at my drunken weirdest best.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Ha Ha.
You're always the weirdest and the best. Come on.
All
man.
right. I'm always this drunken weird. Okay.
I think this song is cool. It's not my favorite off there, and I like the acoustic guitar in the background. Really cool. And then we get to the last track, which is called Lions. What'd you think of this one?
This was always kind of a little bit of a weird song for me. I do like it, kind of, but it was like a thinker. You know, like those songs where you have to think about if you like them. And it kind of had maybe more of a Leonard Cohen type of moodiness to it. It's good, but like I said, you have to kind of think about it. It doesn't grab you right away. You have to hear it a few times before it sinks in.
Yeah, I think it's a cool way to end the record. It's most excellent album. Like it, track, moody, really cool, man. I like this album a lot, but I do like other Dire Straits albums better, but this has like Sultans of Swing on it. Fucking A. Fucking great track.
Uh-huh.
It trumps all the tracks. Ever.
Right on.
All right, well let's get it. Let's get on the tracks of the week. I was a little confused with your track, Lee, because I thought, what's the name of the band and what's the name of the song, and then I finally figured it out. The band is called The Open Window, right?
Yeah.
And the song is called At the Wedding.
Yeah.
So I was thinking.
Yeah.
You
got it right.
I was thinking the band was called At the Wedding and the song was called The Open Window because it could be either or, you know. It was kind of confusing.
Yeah.
But luckily I checked into it and saw how they labeled it on YouTube and I got it.
You had to search it, and after a few years, you finally got it.
Yeah, I guess so. So let's get into our tracks of the week.
They are a very weird band.
Yeah.
But I dug them.
I picked The Cars, Since You've Been Gone, in honor of the great Rick Ocasek. And I felt bad because I forgot about Eddie Money, but I'm not going to play any more songs, but we got some Eddie Money in the beginning. And then you picked The Open Window at the Wedding. So until next week, Lee, say goodbye, bro.
Bye, bro.
Bye.
As far as the wind, bros.
As far as the wind, bros. What's a wind, bro?
Blows, but bro.
Bro blow?
Like Born Free as far as the wind blows, but as far as the wind bros. Bro, I was making a joke. You didn't get it, but it's okay.
Okay, Joe Blow. Alright, until next week, have a great day, man. Have a good evening.
Alright,
bye.
take care.
Bye.
You have just listened to the Freeform Rock Podcast. All music played on the Freeform Rock Podcast belongs to its owner. If you like it, go out and buy it. Get your music on Amazon, iTunes, or at your local record store. Support what you love. Support the artist by seeing them live. Purchase their music. The Freeform Rock Podcast is not affiliated with any of the artists or music that we play. Thank you for listening to the Freeform Rock Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. Until next time, stay free and rock on.